As soon as Ranvir told Vedant about his marriage to Mahi, he laughed sarcastically and said, "What? Really? Mahi has accepted you?" "As far as I know, she knows business tycoon Ranveer Roy Kapoor, not underworld king Ranveer Roy Kapoor." Then he looked at Mahi, who was just looking at the beauty of the hotel like a child. Vedant gestured to Mahi with his eyes and said, "Look at that girl, she is filled with the innocence of the world." As far as I have understood Mahi, she is still unaware of the world. Don't you think you are playing with an innocent life just to fulfill your stubbornness? Because if you loved her, you wouldn't have hidden anything about yourself from her. After listening to him, Ranveer's expression turned completely dark. He said while brushing his teeth, "Just shut up. I am what I am. Mahi will have to accept me like this. And it would be better for you that you don't even think of coming between us." Vedant said while raising both his hands, "Okay, I also want to see how long your stubbornness and your obsession will keep him with you." Then he took a deep breath and said, "It would be bad if Mahi's heart breaks in all this. Because a girl like Mahi will never love an underworld king." Saying this, Vedant looked at Ranveer with a sad smile and left. At some point, Ranveer, Rudra and Vedant were very close to each other. It can be said that all three could not live without each other. All three were of the same age and all three had studied together in childhood. Still, something happened that the lines of hatred were drawn one by one between Vedant and Ranveer. Both did not leave any effect in humiliating each other. Although Rudra knew about it, but the family members of both did not know about this enmity. And both gave the same love and respect to each other's family that they had always given. It was not that only Ranveer was involved in illegal activities. Vedant also had many such illegal activities that both Ranveer and Rudra knew about. Hearing Vedant's words, Ranveer's hands were tied with anger. Ranveer calmed his eyes and looked at Mahi, who was now watching something on his phone. Ranveer took a deep breath and moved towards Mahi. Mahi had seen Vedant with Ranveer. But Ranveer did not have the courage to talk to Vedant. So he focused on his phone. Ranveer once again picked up Mahi in his arms and came out. He put Mahi in the car and left while driving the car. Ranveer was looking at the road while driving. But Vedant's words were echoing in his mind at that time. He stopped the car on the road for a while and turned his head back to the seat. After a while, he glanced at Mahi, who was sleeping peacefully. His hair was covering his small beautiful face. Ranveer removed his hair from his face with his fingers and put them behind his ear. And went ahead and kissed his forehead. As soon as he kissed Ranveer, Mahi's eyes opened. He said while sitting straight, "Did we come home?" Ranveer also said while starting the car again, "No, it will take another half an hour." Saying this, he started driving the car again. And in a while, they both reached Mahi's house. When Ranveer picked up Mahi in his arms, Mahi said, "I will go by myself now." After hearing this, when Ranveer looked at her with cold eyes, Mahi became silent. Seeing Mahi in Ranveer's arms, Nirmala ji asked, "What happened to Mahi? Is she all right?" Mahi said, "Yes, Auntie ji, I am absolutely fine. I just had a little sprain in my legs." Ranveer said to Nirmala ji, "Auntie, I will leave Mahi in her room." So Nirmala ji nodded her head and said, "Yes, she will be fine. I will send turmeric milk for Mahi now." Saying this, she went towards the kitchen. Ranveer brought Mahi to the room and sat on the bed. Sitting next to her, he checked her legs and said, The swelling has already reduced." Then he left the turmeric milk there. Ranveer took the glass of milk towards Mahi and said, "Here, drink it." Mahi looked at the milk and said, "Keep it here, I will drink it later." Ranveer understood after seeing Mahi's reaction that Mahi doesn't want to drink milk. So he forcefully put the glass on Mahi's lips. Mahi was not able to drink milk at all. But Ranveer forcefully fed her milk. Then he kept the glass aside and said while cleaning Mahi's lips with his thumb, "Now take rest, I will come to pick you up tomorrow morning at 11. Mahi asked in confusion, "Why at 11? Ranveer said, "Because you are coming with me for shopping tomorrow." We have a ring ceremony. Saying this, he kissed Mahi's lips and said while ruining her hair, I don't want any excuse tomorrow. Saying this, he left the room. Mahi kept thinking that I was thinking of an excuse to not go tomorrow. But he had already given this warning. How does he know what I am thinking? The next day, Mahi got ready and came down to the dining hall to have breakfast. Downstairs, Gangadharji, Maheshji and Nirmalaji were also having breakfast at the dining table. Seeing Mahi coming, Gangadharji asked her, Mahi, how is your leg now? Yesterday, your aunt was telling that you had a sprain in your leg. Mahi said while drinking juice, Baba, now my leg is fine. It was just a slight sprain. After hearing this, Maheshji said, Dear, take care of yourself. Mahi said with all her heart, I do take care of myself, but when the devil is after you, such incidents keep happening. Nirmalaji saw Mahi in deep thought and asked her, What are you thinking, Mahi? Mahi said while making a face, about the devil. Then she remembered what she had said, so she said quickly, I have to go shopping today, so I was thinking the same. Mahi said so much that Ranvir called her on the phone. Mahi picked up the call and said, Hello. On the other hand, Ranvir said, Dear, if you have given a lot of abuses, then come out. I am waiting for you outside. Mahi wanted to say that you said 11 o'clock, now it is only 9 o'clock. But Ranvir did not give her a chance to speak. Then she said to her father, Father, Ranvir is waiting for me outside. Can I go shopping? Hearing this, Maheshji said, Ranvir is outside, call him inside. After all, he is the future son-in-law of this house. Mahi said, I will call him and ask him to come inside. Then Gangadharji said, No, Mahi. You call him yourself. Now Mahi had no option. She went out of her mind. Ranvir was standing outside with his BMW. He had a phone in one hand and the other hand was in his pocket. Ranvir was looking very handsome in black pant and white shirt. When Mahi saw Ranvir, she was mesmerized for a moment and said to herself, he looks so handsome, just like a hero. But his actions are like that of a villain. When Ranvir saw Mahi talking to himself, he winked at her face and said, Oh, hello. If the calculation of hero and villain is over, shall we go? Hearing Ranvir's words, Mahi's mouth was wide open. She said, How do you know what I am thinking? Do you know any magic? Ranvir also said, Yes, you don't know? When do you think I know everything? Hearing this, Mahi got scared. Because a while ago, she was sitting inside and was cursing Ranvir. She was afraid that Ranvir might have heard her. She changed her words and said, Baba has called you inside. Ranvir asked, Why? Mahi said, You are the future son-in-law of this house and you have come home after our marriage was fixed. Hearing this, Ranvir laughed. He pinched Mahi's nose and said, Crazy little girl. Saying this, he held Mahi's hand and went inside. Gangadharji and Maheshji welcomed Ranvir with love and Ranvir was very happy. After some time, the maid served him breakfast. Gangadharji was very happy. After some time, Ranvir left with Mahi. They went to the biggest shop on the 4th floor where Ranvir and Mahi were sitting on the sofa and the shop's attendants and managers were showing them more than one dress. Ranvir selected some dresses and asked Mahi to try them. Then he asked the manager and attendants to leave. Mahi liked some of the dresses but some of the dresses were very short. Ranvir, who was looking at something in his phone, without looking at Mahi, hesitated and said, All the dresses are good but some of them are very short and I don't wear such clothes. Ranvir, who was busy in his phone, looked at Mahi and came to her. Then he took out a black dress and asked Mahi to try it on. Mahi sometimes looked at the dress and sometimes at Ranvir. Ranvir gestured to go to the changing room with one hand. Mahi nodded and thought, Now I have to go. After 10 minutes, he adjusted his dress and came out. Sometimes he pulled the dress from his thigh, it's so hot. Mahi was feeling very uncomfortable looking at Ranvir. Ranvir came closer and Mahi's heart started beating fast. Ranvir was looking at Mahi from top to bottom. Will Vedant tell Mahi about the connection with Ranvir's underworld? What will Mahi do?